What's up, Pokemoshpitbeta? MrJamvad here with a Black 2 White 2 Ubers match. This one was against a guy by the name of the DestroyerDemon that I found on Schmogun. I'm really new to uploading. I don't have many uploads so far, and this is my first upload to this channel, so I hope you all enjoy it. Please leave a comment if you do. Tell me what I can improve on, so on and so forth. And let's jump on into the battle. Okay. I'm going to lead off with Terrakion, as my opponent's going to lead off with his Kyogre. I led with Terrakion because I'm Scarf, and I thought he would lead with his Darkrai, seeing as most trainers tend to do that, just put something to sleep and shuffle around the opponent's team a bit early, but I guess he figured Kyogre was a better matchup, and he's going to switch out here. I actually predicted him to go straight for the Water Spout, because most Kyogre leads are typically Scarf and they just go for Water Spout, spamming it, destroying people's teams, but I do have the Latias to check that, and I predict the Toxic from the Lugia, and I'm gonna go for layer Toxic Spikes because most of his team is affected by it, barring the Lugia and the Rayquaza, and he's gonna go for Dragon Tail. Not entirely sure why he didn't hard switch, and it's something that can directly threaten me. I guess he thought I would double switch or something, but I'm gonna go right back into Fortress, which was rather obvious, but I have to play it safe because I'm not sure what kind of trainer this is, and he does predict that, so I know he can at least play a bit. So right here I have to choose something to sleep fodder because I don't want Fortress as sleep fodder, and I figured looking at his team, Groudon would be the least useful because he has a lot of hard-hitting special attackers, and my Groudon is full-fledged physical with just a tad bit of special defense investment. So I figured Groudon would be, expendable, as he does go for the Dark Void as predicted, because I could have gone into Terrakion and absorbed the Dark Pulse, getting the +1. But now I'm going to go into Terrakion predicting the Dark Pulse or the Nasty Plot, as he does go for Nasty Plot. Bit greedy if I have to say so, but I have a Ho-Ho on my team as well as Terrakion, and Terrakions are typically Scarfed when being played in Uber, so I get to take out that Darkrai really early, but now he gets to send in whatever he wants because he knows I'm locked into close combat. And yeah, he's gonna go in his Kyogre, taking one layer of poisoning. I guess that's why I sent that in, or maybe just really wanted to get his rain up, but I know I can't OHKO him, so I'm gonna go back into Latias, predicting the water move again, but he's gonna make a really nice play. He's gonna go for Ice Beam, predicting that, and that did a lot. So I know right off the bat he specs because Scarf Kyogre does like 30-something%. So I'm gonna go into Ho-Ho, knowing I can easily take an Ice Beam. I could have gone into Fortress, but Fortress really can't do too much back to this Kyogre, so that's the reason behind that. But he's gonna freeze me, which will actually end up mattering because if he had not frozen me, I would have been able to sub down and, well, sub up, whatever. I would have been able to sub and then proceed to do work to his team, but now I am forced to go for the Sacred Fire just to unthaw myself because Ho-Ho is really important and I need it unthawed. So he's going to predict that, I guess, and go into Palkia, knowing I have to thaw myself out. And the rain is up and the quad resistance, so it will do probably 2 damage. So I have to switch out here, knowing he probably packs the water move because he is on a sun team, even though it's not that common sometimes, even though he's on a rain team, sorry. So I go into my Groudon, kind of sacking it because I really had nothing else to take the water move, because I believe Latias would be to a KO at that range of health from the Surf, and I'm pretty sure he's probably Scarfed. So yeah, looking at that damage, he probably is, and most Palkia are typically Scarfed in Ubers anyway. So I'm gonna make a switch out into my Ho-Ho right here, figuring he would just keep surfing to kill me off, and I knew surfing the sun would do absolutely nothing to Ho-Ho, so I would have been able to sub. But he's gonna make a switch into his Kyogre. I guess he really wants his rain up, and now I'm gonna go right back into Latias. I've been playing this thing super obviously, switching it into Kyogre every time, but I guess he predicted me to predict Ice Beam and staying with my Ho-Ho, but no, I'm gonna go right into Latias, and I'm gonna be able to recover because I do end up living these specs, probably modest Hydro Pump based on that damage in the rain. And now Latias will be able to take a few more if I predict correctly, but now I'm predicting Toxic or Dragon Tail. So I'm gonna go into my Groudon, and get my sun up, which is nice too. But he's gonna double switch again and go back in his Kyogre. This Kyogre is just so annoying right now, and I really have to play my cards right here. Just think of, like, get into his mind what he would do or what I would do if I were him. So I predict the Ice Beam right here because I know, like, it would still kill my Groudon from that range of health. So I know it was I know he knew it was a safe play, as well as he probably predicted my Latias switching, as every time his Kyogre came in so far, I switched to Latias. But right here, I know he's not gonna stay, and he's locked in an Ice Beam, and they really aren't doing too much to Fortress because I am especially defensive. So I predict him to switch into Rayquaza, trying to use Fortress to set up fodder. So I double switch into my Terrakion, but he sends in Deoxys attack instead, and he knows I'm Choice Scarf, so he knows I'll outspeed it, and I just go for X-Scissor, playing it safe, even though Stone Edge hits everything on his team for at least neutral damage. But I know I've been missing Stone Edges a lot lately, and I didn't want to risk him staying in. I miss and he kills me because Terrakion is very important to his team. Now right here, I predict him to go for Draco because I've been switching in Latias into water moves all the time, and Draco hits most of my team for neutral damage. So I knew he wouldn't go for the water move because Latias at that range of health could easily take 2, and it was rather obvious. So I'm going to sub down here, and he's going to switch out knowing he's at -2, and nothing on his team really wants to take a Brave Bird. Not entirely sure why he didn't go into Lugia, but oh well. I'm just going to kill off this Kyogre with a Brave Bird, and the Weather War is indeed mine pretty early in the match, so that's always nice, even though it wasn't the most important thing. But he's going to go in his Deoxys because nothing really wants to take the consecutive Brave Birds, and Lugia can't break my sub like consistently, so he's gonna go for the Thunder as I go for Recover. Got a little greedy there. I should have just killed this thing because it will end up biting me in the ass, because I was predicting him to go for Psycho Boost because that's the only thing I thought he would have to break my sub, and then I would end up recovering and then sub down until he can't break my sub. So I would kill this thing while remaining behind the sub, but that won't be the case. And I figure he wouldn't over predict because Ho-Ho is too big of a threat, and I have been predicting him all game. So I go into Groudon. Even if he had predicted that, it's basically dead fodder. His Darkrai is dead, so I don't need a sleep fodder, and you know, he has a lot of strong special attackers, so it's really not that useful. So I'm going to scout if he has Ice Beam or Psycho Boost here, and I'm going to go into my Ho-Ho, knowing I can easily take that, and alongside the Regenerator, I know I can easily just switch out and regain most of my health. Probably come back in at like 75%. So I'm going to predict Extreme Speed here, trying to Life Orb stall as well as Poison stall, and I'm going to go into my Terrakion, but he goes to the Thunder in the Sun, just 50%. And he hits and he paralyzes my Terrakion, which is very bad because now Rayquaza just became a huge threat, because if it gets a DD up, I could potentially be swept. And he's gonna go into Lugia. I'm not entirely sure why. I guess he may have predicted some kind of double switch, or me just wanting to preserve Terrakion, but at this point, like, a paralyzed Scarf Terrakion wasn't gonna be too useful. And right here, I know for a fact he's gonna go for the Roost, trying to PP stall because he is running pressure based on that damage, and Stone Edge could miss, or like it wouldn't be doing too much because I negated his Flying type. But right here, I know he's gonna predict me to go for the Dark Void because that's typically what Darkrai does. But I'm gonna go straight for the Dark Pulse, predicting the Palkia switching because he would have been able to survive another turn of poisoning, and he was probably Scarf, so I would have to predict another move, which can all be avoided if I just go for Dark Pulse right there. So right here, brings in his Deoxys, knowing he can outspeed me, and he has one attack left. And I do a stupid play right here. I go into Groudon, trying to sack it, but he goes for Superpower, which actually makes sense. Why wouldn't he go for Superpower? But I predicted like Psycho Boost, but why would he Psycho Boost to Darkrai? Because the whole point was not to let his Rayquaza get a free switch on something that can't hurt him in Dragon Dance. And right here, he gets in on my Groudon. I know I have a guaranteed turn of sleep that turn, and if he Dragon Dances, I'm pretty much screwed. But he goes to V-Create, I guess, predicting Fortress to come in, but I really don't care for Fortress. I go into Terrakion just in case he Dragon Dance, just to force him to kill me that turn, because I couldn't risk him keep Dragon Dancing on Groudon. But knowing he has V-Create, he's probably the Bandit set, because the DD set doesn't typically carry V-Create due to the speed drop, defense drop. It's basically counterproductive. So I'm gonna go into my Ho-Ho knowing I can outspeed after the speed drop, and the V-Create is resisted, and he's gonna go into Ho-Ho as I sub, and I do not get the burn. Unfortunately, I never get the burn, but people always burn me with it. Oh well. But because he has pressure, he can actually like stall me out with these Sacred Fires, Brave Birds, and all that. And I missed the second Sacred Fire, which will end up kind of mattering, but kind of not mattering at the same time, because if I had burned him that turn, I would have been able to save one more Sacred Fire for his Rayquaza, like banking on the burn basically. But right here, I'm pretty sure he counted my Sacred Fires, and this is indeed my last Sacred Fire. So when I go for it, I will be able to get the burn. And like, I hadn't realized that he doesn't have multi-scale, so I was just like trying to break his multi-scale all this time, but then I realized he has pressure like at this point. So he sets up the Reflect knowing that he will be able to get a free switch into his Rayquaza, because Lugia really can't hurt me with Dragon Tail only. You probably have to try and Toxic me, but he's gonna make a good play going to Rayquaza, knowing with the Reflect up he can take the Brave Birds, looking like probably a 3-hit KO. And because he does outspeed me, he will be able to kill me before I'm able to kill him. But because I know he's probably going to go for Outrage, I'm going to sub down again. One, trying to stall out the Reflect turns, as well as to try and get him to get the 2 turn. Because I'll be able to sub down, he'd have to risk being confused. Then I'd potentially Brave Bird him when the Reflect wears off. So I am subbing down, and unfortunately he does get the 3 turn. So I could sub down again, which would have what a smart person would have done, but I don't know, I just go for Recover, because honestly the game is basically mine anyway. So if Ho-Ho dies, it really doesn't change anything basically, because I know he's locked in an Outrage. So yeah, I recover, and I'm basically banking on him hitting himself into confusion, because the Reflect does wear off that turn, and he's gonna break through, kill my Ho-Ho, which doesn't matter because I'm gonna go into Latias and finish off this Rayquaza the next couple turns, and he's gonna stay in just, you know, whatevering, and he's gonna go into Lugia and run afterwards. So that will be my game, because he knew he couldn't have won, because I do have my Darkrai at full health still. So I hope you all enjoyed it. Please check out my channel as well as my opponents, and I'll see you guys later.